Why don't you tell us what kind of students were you actually?
What kind of students were we? Well,
Some remark that teacher probably gave you that turned out true later in your life.
that you have a lot of potential, but you don't know it yet.
You're going to turn out to be a great human being, and I'm sure we both did. Yeah, so we're really proud about that. So every possible chance you get, just utilize it.
A good chef is not just the one who can cook a good meal. A good chef is the one who can say actually what went wrong. I remember my birthday, I came in and I've been slapped. Happy birthday.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
One smell you can't tolerate.
Vanilla.
One ingredient you cannot live without.
Now back me up. Vanilla. No bakery can live without vanilla.
But I'm not baking, bro. Okay.
One school rule that you actually found funny.
Talk in English. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Can we say that? Oh, sorry.
1 hour later.
That's exactly the point. I mean, when you are tasting or if he's tasting and if he wants it, I know.
देखो किसी या इस चाबी रखी मैं जा रहा हूँ
नहीं but अगर see
The Billabong Podcast.
Hey everyone, I'm Notorious and with me is Singh, and today's episode is really exciting for us because we are talking to two of our alumni from the batch of 2017 who sat once where we do and are now cooking across the world.
And with us we have Nikhil Lakhanpal, who is currently a chef at The Point, a 4-diamond Michelin acclaimed restaurant at the
It's the Wick Nation.
Yeah, that in Canada.
And with us we also have Gurwin Sahni, who has worked in kitchens across India, Dubai and Australia and has feathered his chef hat at places like the MCG and Ground Casino.
2 alumni, 1 batch, and countless simmering stories in the background. Welcome back to the mic, Gurwin and Nikhil.
Thank you.
So chefs, let's delve into your school life. Why don't you tell us what kind of students were you actually?
what kind of students were we? Well, there are a plethora of adjectives you could add on to that, but I mean, keeping it simple, we were notorious, kind of serious, and I mean, we were just all around.
For me, as you mentioned, being notorious was one thing, being a little serious was another. But at the same time, it was about being respectful, following boundaries, which I don't think all the teachers will agree right now. But when I look back, I guess that's what, we always knew where the boundary was. Even though we were the most notorious kids, this school, these walls I've ever seen. So, yeah.
I noticed you both said notorious. Do you guys want to elaborate on that?
Okay, so let's start from the beginning when we started. So I started in grade 6.
Yeah.
So this is September 5th, Teachers' Day. And as a kid, I always had this habit of making cards for all my, favorite teachers. And because this was the first year in school, I made it for every teacher that was teaching me that year. So I would have a Teachers' Day card and a rose clipped onto it. Okay, so I give it to every teacher and they're really happy and they're really appreciating the effort. And then the 15-20 minutes later, after I've given the cards to all the teachers, my mom, she's a teacher here still till date, Shaban ma'am, all of you know, I think.
Yeah.
So she was called into the principal's office, and at that time we had Sujata ma'am as the principal. And she's like, this is a cute mistake your son has done today. She was like, you see that card clipped on the softboard there? She's like, open it. And then my mom opened it and it said, Happy Teachers' Day from Nikhil to dear Sujata. And then it just said, from Nikhil to dear Sujata, and it had multiple hearts around it. Okay. And I am not very sure the year she left Billabong, but I very clearly remember that the last day she had, the card was still on the board there. So that's what I said when I said notorious. So this was cute notorious, but with boundaries.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I think you've talked about how innocent Notorious was. Even throughout the senior years, I mean, I remember this very vividly. In 9th, I was the sports vice captain and we had hosted the state level ISC competition in Billabong. Obviously, throughout the entire preparation time, we were working very closely with the entire team of the teachers and especially the sports department. Viren sir, the then HOD.
Yeah.
I remember after the culmination of the event, I just happened to go to him, and out of the excitement, I went down, I touched his feet, I opened his lace, and I came back up. And that has been the case since that day till date. I met him lately at a friend's wedding. I went down, he's standing there with his wife, he just bounced back, that not now.
So we heard about your relations with teachers, so why don't you tell us about some remark that a teacher probably gave you that turned out true later in your life?
Oh, that you have a lot of potential, but you don't know it yet.
True gem. Yes. You're gonna turn out to be a great human being, and I'm sure we both did. Yeah. So we're really proud about that. So yeah, that's one remark I believe was really true about us.
I'm curious to know what is that one thing that you would love to tell your school self now, after all that you've experienced.
When you leave this school, you will know what you had, and every possible chance you get, just utilize it. Be it to have fun, be it to make new friends, be it to have a new outing with all your school classmates and everybody. Just do it, because when you go out, the world probably might not allow you to do that because of responsibility, because how you see life, how you approach life, that changes. And I think that this school will never stop you from doing anything that you really want to.
On the same lines, I would tell myself to just chill it out and enjoy every single day. I did enjoy every single day, but then also, I would just tell myself that you've got it under control, you're doing it all well, just do it with the entire heart. At times we were a bit bent towards extracurricular a bit more. When the right time came and then the right nails were, put into the coffin, we did study. We did get what was required towards the ends of the board years as well. But it all did pan out very well. We were not able to see what is in store for us.
Yeah, I think that's something we needed to hear, honestly speaking.
Okay, so I want to know that out of all the moments you've shared in school, what's one that you're secretly proud of and you reminisce about it from time to time?
One memory to name would probably be when we were on the Students' Council in 2015-16, and the sports day was approaching, and we were practicing march past on the football field.
Yeah.
There was this meeting that was called up for the entire council. We went back after, suppose half an hour at least. When we reached back, there was no single council member on the football field, and the high school and the middle school were practicing their march past. And we were zapped. We would have expected them to have had a gala time, 30 minutes break, chill. But no, they were practicing. And I think we all were taken aback by this, that what kind of, intent is the right word for it, they had for their own sports day. That was something that I'm actually proud of, not as a council member of the student council, but as a member of that student body, the entire group that was there.
Yeah, I also recall one moment from the same time. So I was the Unity House captain at that point, and what I recall from that day was when we actually had the sports day, apparently Unity lost that year. I was very sad. What happened next was really a moment which I'm really proud of. Was if I had 100 students in the Unity House at that point, 40 might have come and cried in front of me, and they're we're sorry bhaiya, that we didn't win. And for me, that was it. They legit cried, and I was oh my god, now, because I was very sad. I was really sad, because it was from 6th grade, this was a dream to be on the Students' Council, and then I eventually became the captain. For me, it was a big deal. That was something that, really made me feel proud, and I was proud of the students as well, that, they understand what it felt to me.
So, this brings me to the point that would you like to relive these days, or is there some other memory in your...
Oh, there's a lot of memories in our memory bank, I would say, to relive. Most of them I cannot say on camera, I would say. So,
makes sense.
Yeah, so yes, this is one of the days I would surely agree that I would like to relive, because it reminds me that, how good of a leader I am.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, but yeah. So
I remember my birthday, I came in and I'm happy, you know, chirpy birthday boy in the morning. I have just walked into the classroom. I have my bag on me. I haven't even been in the class for say a minute. I've been slapped. Happy birthday.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how we were wishing each other birthdays.
What a nice way to wish someone
Yeah, of
happy
course.
birthday.
And I was happy, yeah. My
People
best friend is
remember.
coming towards me to wish me birthday.
That's right,
Thanks.
Yeah. So
Hopefully we
yeah.
don't have that now. So.
Hopefully.
Handfully.
Yeah,
Thankfully. I think one day that I would like to relive, and I have this entire day running through my mind from time to time, the elections of the Students' Council of when I was contesting for the position of head boy. On the day of the elections, I think it was a Friday if I'm not wrong, and the results were to be out on Monday. I remember not less than 100 people would have, while crossing me or while me crossing them, they would have said that, Bhaiya, you're gonna win, or Gurwin, you're gonna win. And that kind of confidence that people were bestowing upon me, that is something that is with me till date. That's the kind of love that I received and I was thankful for.
We now have silent campaigns.
That's
Yeah.
what we've heard.
Yeah, 10 years down the line, don't forget to vote for Gurwin Singh Sahni for the mayor of Bhopal.
Listening to all your answers, I can see your school life is a roller coaster, and even after the transition phase.
Okay, so before we delve into your post-school life, is there one last prank you'd want to share us so that we also get some ideas?
Yeah, I think we can share Holi. Probably. Yeah, so this was somewhere around March and we were in grade 8. So this luckily involves both of us. He had these capsules which had powdered color in
The ones
those.
that have color inside them.
Yeah.
Yes, the ones you use to fill the water balloons with,
Uh-huh.
so that when you throw it and it just splashes off with the color.
Yeah.
So he had those. He had a full box, okay, and they were all red color. We were just outside the class. We used the capsule. I put some powder, the red powder here.
He would
some
always
here.
have long hair. So
Yeah.
it was very easy to hide those
Yeah.
capsules in his hair.
And she's already in the class, okay, and then we both enter shouting at each other. He's pushing me and I push him back, and then he starts imitating as if he's really punching me really hard.
We broke out a fight. Then eventually we planned it out. So he's fallen onto the ground. I am sitting on top of him. I'm punching him, and I know where the capsules are. I know where to throw the water onto. So it came out to be a very thick red liquid. He's just lying there as if he's unconscious, and there have been 2-3 people pulling me out of that fight, and the fight has stopped. The skin ma'am has come up to me. She's shouting at me. And it was a very usual occurrence that whenever we would do this, he would just slap us on our arms and be like, "What have you done?" And I am being slapped repeatedly. Then what have you done? Look at him, and she's panicking. People are looking on to him and what is happening. They're trying to get him back to consciousness.
I wake up and I'm like, Skinner, I'm alive. And then she lost it on me as well, and I got those bicep slam shit that she would always have, and then I got so many of them. And then she really cared for us, so she got at a point where she was a bit teary.
Yeah.
So it felt really bad.
I don't think we should be taking any ideas
Yeah,
from
you
this
should.
brand card.
Yeah,
Who knows?
No.
We'll know very soon.
Yes.
So when did you guys decide you want to become chefs? Was it in school or after?
For me, I would say it was pretty much in school. This was in grade 8. I remember my mom, so she has this fond memory from her childhood that her dad, my grandfather, used to cook lamb for all of us.
Okay.
And this was in grade 8 that I really got into this habit of asking her always just teach me, because he was the one who taught her. And I was I also really want to learn how my grandfather really cooked.
Yeah.
And this is where I actually I was 5 years old when I lost my grandfather, so that was pretty early. But I always remembered those lamb curry nights that we had.
Yeah.
First time when I got into it, and I told my mom that okay, this time I'll cook it. You just stand beside me or keep coming and going.
Yeah.
So that's when this was the first time the entire chaos quieted down. It died. 2 days ago I was talking to my mom and dad, and I was telling them that the reason I'm into this still is because two thoughts. If something happens to like my dad or to my mom, these two thoughts are the only two thoughts that can penetrate through that void. Otherwise I'm zoned out. Like cooking is something, no matter what the hell is going on in the world, it will just let me escape. That's what just kept me going.
So when I was a kid, I always wanted to cook, but my mom was a bit skeptical of letting children near open fire. So gas nahi chalani and that kind of stuff. So when I was in school, she would never let me cook as much. For my first year, I was studying finance. I had my eyes set on to finance since I was in 11th. Right, that was what I had chosen for myself. There was this wedding in my family, so I had come back to Bhopal for that. This wedding phase, what happened was that the entire family is here, of course. On one fine day, it was like, I'll make biryani for everyone. Similar stories, like how his grandfather used to do the lamb curry. My nani had this amazing mutton biryani that she used to cook. I mean, I was thankful enough to my life that I was able to learn from her before she passed away. And I would genuinely stand next to her and understand how she was making it. I made biryani, I made a couple of things around it, and everybody was eating it, and everybody was praising that nice and blah, and everybody was so happy. And I was genuinely happy after serving it to people. After that, my mom was like while we were winding up the kitchen and everything, she's like, you like cooking so much. You love feeding people. Why don't you look at it as a career? So this thought came from her. Then I started looking into it. I started looking at colleges and thought of moving to Delhi because Delhi being the food capital. But then again found out that I could get into IHM Bombay as well. Was one of the best IHMs in India, and that's how I got into the craft. That's how I got into the career of being a chef.
So now that you've got hold of your inner calling and your lives seem to be settled, what do you think that you've done differently from others that has actually worked out in your favor?
Settled is the wrong word.
I mean, settled, who settled?
No, not me.
We dust, we don't settle.
Yes.
Is what we would say.
Yeah.
I take everything as a challenge. Like throughout my life, I have taken every single day as a challenge. Like, this is what I have to do today. Till date, the biggest change that I have felt was when I went from school to college. Because after that, again, because how age comes into matter and how your mind gets accustomed to things, your mind gets accustomed to change as well. It all started playing on very smoothly after that. Whether it being that I am transitioning from one career to the other, choosing culinary and then working in it for 7 odd years, and then all of a sudden I have to make a decision where I am moving out of an active line, like we call it a line chef. I was an active line chef. I was working on the heat every single day in and day out. Coming out of that and throwing yourself into your business, and you could say that it's a family business and you've started with some ground to stand on, and I'm genuinely saying this, that it helps a lot. But then again, it comes with its own challenges, and I very deliberately use the word challenges because it is something that you can overcome. If I look at it as a change, it will rattle me. If I look at it as a problem, then again, it is a problem. I very deliberately feed myself the word challenge for anything that comes onto my life, that anything that comes on my plate, that this is a challenge for me. And that is exactly how I feel I have been able to maneuver through them. To overcome a challenge is a very exciting process. Whether you're on the field playing sports, you're in the classroom doing your studies, writing exams, or when you're in the kitchen cooking and something goes wrong. And I mean, kitchen is in some place where everything goes wrong. And I've heard this, I was listening to this another podcast of a chef, and he said, I'm not able to remember who was the person on the mic, but he said a good chef is not just the one who can cook a good meal. A good chef is the one who can, savor what happened. You can save actually what went wrong.
So the bringing the ball back into your court is what you would say is the
very true, very well put. Very well put. That is exactly the game.
So, talking about changes, I want to know about your first days at, work. what? Were they like panic-stricken or were they exciting?
One of the feelings I've had on my day ones at wherever I've been, I would always say overwhelmed,
Overwhelming.
because it's like kitchen is a place where no matter how learned you are, no matter how much skill you have honed, how much you know about your craft, the moment you step out of the kitchen you're working in and you step into another one, it's a brand new world for you. You have to be a sponge.
Yeah.
Okay, so that overwhelmed feeling is coming from the idea of that I have to absorb so much.
Yeah.
And being a chef, you just get into that zone that I don't know till when do I have the time to be here. So like let's just grab whatever you can.
Mhm.
Right.
And so I would not call it a panic first day, but a very overwhelming feeling to be a sponge in whichever new place I went to.
So considering everything as a learning rather than a problematic task or a panicking task is basically your way of approaching a debut.
As I said, like when you become a sponge, you soak up stuff. There's two aspects to that. The first is you need to know what you want to spill out. Second, who you want to allow to give that liberty, especially your leaders.
This lesson of yours that absorbing and draining the sponge, I've also learned this by two people in my life. One's my father and one's a teacher in school itself. It's Amit sir. He teaches us English.
Okay.
So he like when we came in ninth grade, that transition from middle to high school, he always told us that one important activity that you have to learn in your life is the activity of learning and unlearning.
Yes.
Because those two things are mainly that decide what way your life is going to go next.
Right.
He
Like
said
I
the same
remember,
thing to us.
my first takeaway and my biggest takeaway was to unlearn.
Yeah.
Because initially I had learned French cuisine. French is the basic of any cuisine that is taught in culinary schools because it is very structurized.
Okay.
I was taught French cooking, nothing against whoever, all of the chefs that we've learned from. But then they were also telling us what their adaptation of French was. Then going to an institute where you are actually learning from French people and they were teaching me about their cuisines. So the art of unlearning was something that was so important so that you could have now, where I am today, where I can understand how the Indian mind would perceive that dish and how the actual person from that ethnicity would perceive that dish. And now I feel lucky because I can now create something out of it, right? I can create something that is somewhere what they want and what they would like.
Yeah.
So that was one very big takeaway, and that is how we've approached everything. I mean, at least I have approached every single job, every single first day, as you asked, that I am here for a new challenge.
So now we have a question for both of you. So going with you first, Simar, that as we were talking about change, transition, first days, what I wanted to ask you was that you discussed before the podcast and even during that you had like multiple shifts from CBSE, ICSE, and was that like did you even change cities or was that you even changed cities?
States.
So states. Oh, okay. A lot of culture difference in this diverse country, I would say. But yes. So my question to you is pretty much what you asked us, but it's like a combined question. So first part of the question would be that how did you adapt to that change? Okay. And the second part of the question is what do you think that when you first moved out, like when you first had a transition, what's the difference between the Simmer then and the Simmer now?
Wow. Okay. So how did I adapt to it? The first time we moved from Delhi to Bhopal.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a big change because Delhi is somewhere where you don't really find peace, and Bhopal is a very peaceful city. I mean, very peaceful.
Yes.
There's no traffic, no pollution, no nothing. So I was pretty young. I was in second grade. I was 7-year-old. So it wasn't that big of a change for me. Yes, I left my friends, my family, and I did miss my cousins. But I don't think it needed for me to adapt to it because I was pretty young back then. But this time when I moved from Noida to Bhopal again, this was a big change for me because coming from CBSE to ICSE in high school was something that I was not ready for, I would say. Leaving maths behind was the best part of it, I would say. So there's that, and it didn't take long for me to adapt here because, of course, the environment here is great, and I have a habit of making friends really quickly. I'm very social that way. So it didn't take long for me to adapt. So I did that pretty well, I'd say.
I relate to the maths part though. I didn't leave it because we didn't have that option, but you're lucky you. Yeah.
Yeah, and the second part of your question was?
That what do you see, like how you said, like the second grade singer what hadn't really had to adapt,
Change.
but like what would you see as a change in yourself from what you moved the first time into the last transition you faced?
I'd say back then I was pretty confident. I still am, but I care about what people think of me now. Because I grew insecure according to my surroundings, and I think Simmer back then would not have done that. I would. My mom told me stories of me when I was younger, and we used to travel from metro in Delhi. I used to go up to random strangers and talk to them about their day and whatever. I cannot do that now because I'm very. I think a lot about what others would think of me.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah.
But I hope, going ahead, you get out of that and get back to
I am
your
trying.
older Simmer, because that is one aspect where you should not be thinking about what others are going to perceive you
Yeah.
as. Because it's entirely about what you are.
Yeah.
I would say like I've shared the similar
Yeah.
childhood. I would
Yeah.
say I moved around in 4 cities. I went out every time I've wanted to grow. I moved to another city.
Yeah.
I'm just sharing this
Yeah.
experience. Like it's a small one. Back in the day, I used to be this person who didn't give a damn. So every good restaurant in Bhopal or cafe. Back
Yeah.
then there were not as many as you have right
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
but back then I have eaten a meal in each one of them sitting alone. Why? Because I started reading a lot like later when I
Yeah.
got into high school. Not the school books. that only happened 24 hours before my board
Yeah,
exams.
yeah.
So not then, but I started reading. And there were things that I was trying to pick up and I was trying to think, like see if they work for me.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things. It's not just about eating food. You could probably just go for a coffee.
Yeah.
Go for a
Okay.
coffee, watch a
You
movie
know,
with yourself.
The moment, like for example, I'm sitting here alone and these two have come into a restaurant together, okay?
Yeah.
I'm having my coffee. I would say the society now is more open to seeing people sitting alone and
Yeah.
having stuff. Back then it was not like
No.
Very
that.
judgmental.
So you would see eyes on you, okay? And that guilt that you feel now, that's what's going to take it away, because what their eyes are looking at is not what you will perceive about yourself later on once you transition from that phase. So that something like that. Try to pick up. If you like, you said you like to read, not academic books. so pick a book, go to some random cafe, sit alone. So and all that allows you to learn more about yourself as well. Probably what you feel as guilt is not even guilt when you eventually find out, when you be in moments like those. So I feel like that is something that really worked for me, and I would really want people to give it a try, if they're really stuck into a loop like that.
For sure, I will. Thank you so much. You've taken away a lot from what you guys said.
Philosophers.
Coming out of what their experience was, both of them have had a very similar experience in their school life and transitioning from one city to the other, and essentially the same cities.
Yeah.
I think we have that similarity. I joined the school when I was in 3rd grade, and I, went on till the school life was with me. You've been here for sizable amount of years.
Over 10 years.
Over 10 years. So that is a long time. How do you see yourself, right now, if you reflect about the Hitar that walked into the school on the first day, and probably think of it as a journey that you went through, and how do you see yourself today?
So, like you mentioned, and I have been in the school for around 12 years at this point, and I'm myself 15. So that's from the age of around 3.5 to 4. So from not being able to even pronounce the alphabet to being able to do a podcast with you guys, who are alumni from the batch of 2017, is really a big step. Like when I take a time to look back at my younger self and I actually see how far I've come, that change has really been massive. Like from building the confidence to having that openness, all these things have been inculcated over my school life. Because right now, that's my phase. I haven't graduated yet, I haven't been to college, I haven't had a work life. So right now, it's very school centered. But that itself is a very monumental journey of your life. Like I mentioned, from not being able to pronounce ABC to taking on interviews or let's say being MCs for events or whatever it be. So all these things that I've learned over the year have really been very impressive, because not to be bragging about it, but it's also, I believe, a phase that everyone goes through, that you really get to know yourself more, and the school has been really helpful in letting me do that. And I also look forward to these next 2 years, which might as well decide my future. So there's that.
I mean, there's a good takeaway from what you said, and like you ended that next 2 years are going to probably going to shape what your future.
The next 20 years of my life.
Every day is going to do that. So take it on as that. I mean, when you wake up tomorrow, you think of what you can do today that would make a better tomorrow. And then the same the next day, then the same the next day. We graduated in 2020 and we were looking for jobs, and then there were no jobs. No world altogether. You have to live at home. That's it. That's the world that you are in now. So you have no idea what's in store. I mean, I personally, I think even he does take our lives in this way that there's no promise of what's going to happen.
Yes.
Have a plan. Have a contingency. But then also just, I mean, I do it that way. I like to live every single day for the day that it is.
If fate decides something else for you, don't feel bad about it. I'm not saying be a cold-hearted person. I'm not saying that, but feel bad about it. Let your emotions flow, and then eventually, I feel like life's gonna give you back what it took away from you in a different way. So just be grateful for eventually ending up where you end up. How you have the gratification for where you are right now, seeing yourself evolve. Have the same attitude just when you walk out of this school and you approach life in a very different way. So I think that will make you go a long, long way. It's helping us.
If you're talking about having learnings, I believe one for me could be going all in every single day, because like you said, the quote that really comes to my mind about after hearing what you said was that live every day till you're last, like you're last, not till you're last. Live every day like you're last, because then you really, think about what you want to do right at the moment. Because, like you said, it's not about the next 2 years; it's about doing something towards it for the next 2 years daily.
Very true.
So that really is something I am actively working on, and I hope I'll get it in me. So
most definitely you will. I mean, thinking of those lines at this age itself, I mean,
it's good.
That is something
I was not even caring about what my I don't get into
10th is we won't like to talk about.
Yeah, we were still in those shadows of Samina ma'am coming into the class and being like, I want you to focus, because we were not as focused as you both seem to be right now. we were like, she would have to rattle us to make us understand what
the sense of what was going on.
Yeah. So it's good that you have that, and it's good you understand the balance at this point. So that's a really good start, I would say, and just keep going.
So after all this, I'm trying to come back to school life now. I want to ask, what is there one thing that only you and your batchmates would understand?
I think it will be that one. Okay.
Let's just do it.
Yeah. Okay. So used to be this beat. So.
Can we also get an opportunity to be batchmates and try
Yeah, please. So basically, this between two classes or lunch break or whenever it would be that one of our batchmates would think that this is required right now. One would start and the entire batch is playing this in sync.
Wow.
All the tables being banged. And I mean, if it was between classes, then we would obviously hear it from the neighboring classes.
And then you would start.
No, we would have to stop and then when they would go away, we would start again. But
Yeah, this was our bell. This was our bell.
this was
that
our
we would
that,
ring.
yeah, we're done with the studying part now. So please do join in. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Huh?
1, 2, then just hit your palm at the back. Bas.
Okay.
So you do 1, 2, and then when you're hitting this, it just goes down and comes back up.
Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Do.
Easy.
Two times.
ठीक है? We'll do it slow.
You got the hang of it, yeah.
You can teach her once you're gone.
Try to teach the entire class.
So now we come to the last and the most exciting part of our podcast, the rapid fire round. The first question for you guys is chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
Favorite hangout spot in school?
Copacabana.
For
One smell you can't tolerate.
vanilla.
I can't say chocolate, but wasabi.
Favorite SPA or club?
Dance.
Basketball.
Cooking with music or without?
With music. Anytime.
Always
Who were you most scared of in school?
myself.
Good answer. I think teachers were scared of us. So, yeah.
One ingredient you cannot live without.
Now back me up. Vanilla.
No,
Milkshake.
no.
No bakery can live without vanilla.
But I'm not baking, bro. Okay. This is a good one actually. You asked us a tough one, so this is not rapid, I know. Which one, man? One ingredient.
One ingredient.
Come on, hurry up, hurry up. Supposed to be
Milk,
rapid.
salt. There are tens of them.
Spice.
One ingredient. Like personally, me or a chef?
As a chef,
Cheese. I don't care if it's a chef or personal. Cheese.
Chili.
Chili.
Okay.
Chili toast. Yeah.
Sports day or annual events?
Sports day.
Annual events.
early morning cooking sessions or night? Late night?
All day out. Just cook.
No, looking at me, it's late night.
Hosting farewell or attending farewell?
Hosting.
Yeah.
Hosting farewell. We have a history with that.
Street food or fine dining?
Street food.
Thought so.
One teacher you would invite over for dinner?
Shaggy.
Shaggy.
She's your mom!
Yeah, but I'll have to call her from the bedroom. She probably might be sleeping the time we both cook. So,
Apron on or off?
Controversial.
yeah, that's debatable.
Yeah. No answer would be the right
Yeah,
answer.
debatable.
Depends on the mood.
Yeah. Not even
The
it's
time
the
of
establishment.
it's
Yeah,
the time of the
day.
shift.
Yes, actually.
One canteen food that you miss the most?
The most.
I miss the most the hot chapatis I used to have while I was in 11th.
I miss the
There's
tang.
story behind it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
also have a story, but I will
But
say
then
tang.
rapid fire we
And
can't.
we don't have that anymore.
Unlucky.
Yeah. Who cooks better, you or your mom?
No, no doubt.
One school rule that you actually found funny?
Talk in English. Oh, sorry.
Yes,
Can we
please.
say that? Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry.
With this, the Billabong podcast comes to a stop. Thank you, Gurwin and Nikhil, for spending time to chat with us.
Thank you.
This conversation was a reminder that the seeds planted at BHIS Bhopal continue to grow far beyond our campus.
Okay, great. Cut.
Oh no, wait. I have another question. Pineapple on pizza, crime or choice?
Also, it's a choice.
Definitely crime.
It's a crime.
Guys, you're not even chefs.
Yeah,
Why are you
just become a
arguing?
chef first
No,
and
but
then
like,
argue.
we're the ones who taste.
Yeah, but
We're
like.
the ones who cook. You do the
So
cooking.
that,
1 hour later.
that's exactly the point. I mean, when you are tasting or if he's tasting and if he wants it,
Time
and
is
you
up. रेप अप कीजिए या ये चाबी रखिए, मैं जा रहा हूँ.
No, but Agan, see, like genuinely, if it is your choice that you wanted, I mean, it's our job to give it to you, right?
Yeah, we are the ones, we decide what we want to put on the plate.
Are you going to say something?
The Billabong Podcast.